Hello guys, I got a huge response from one of my last videos posted in YouTube on my channel regarding how to prepare for the interview for the College Service Commission. I was astonished to see how number of audiences are growing and are watching my channel and also suggesting for betterment. Ultimately, the betterment of biology medicine is betterment of yours, isn't it? Because I'm working towards helping build up your career as much as I can. Many of you requested to make another video on what exactly happened to me on the day of interview. I call it the big day. What are the questions asked to me and how I dealt with them? First of all, thank you for watching the video, posting all the comments and hundreds of likes since no dislikes yet. I mentioned the link of the video in the description box for those who are yet to watch it. If you are aspiring for the ongoing interviews of the College Service Commission or any other interview for assistant professor position, yes, you are at the right place. So let's talk about my experience and what you should do on the big day. Hello everyone, this is Biology Medicine channel and I welcome you all for the one more interesting video related to ongoing College Service Commission interview. Many of you panic thinking about the interview. This is not uncommon, so the question is how to avoid getting panicked. According to my opinion, if you have a rock solid preparation for a particular interview, your anxiety is bound to decrease. Your confidence in the interview will be proportionate to your homework. For any interview, you always should have background work. Concentrate on even trivial things, discuss with someone who can help you preparing for the interview and rectify your mistakes. Do not feel shy to talk to someone who might you think can help you. Here, I will explain what you should do on the day of interview. First, always arrive early at the interview venue, especially if you are coming from a remote place. If possible, arrive one day in advance and stay close to somewhere to the venue. Are you curious why I am suggesting this? In many occasions, I have seen candidates are coming late. Why to stress yourself if you have an option? I would never do that. Second, your documents are your identity. You should have a display file containing all your documents. Now you should understand that your documents are of different categories. You may have copy of your published papers, you may have your PhD thesis, you will have your educational certificates in original and copy of them. You may have books that you wrote, right? So be sure that you make separate ones for each of this category. The interviewers will ask them from you separately and no one will like you if you mess them up while asked. Third, it's common to feel thirsty due to anxiety for the interview. Do not forget to carry little bit of water with you. Drinking little bit of water will keep your mouth wet and help you feel fresh. Fourth, I strongly suggest that someone must accompany you during the day of interview. Whoever is available, be your mom, dad, brother, sister or even wife. Take him or her with you so that you can fully concentrate on the interview and they take care of the rest on your behalf. The next is to report your presence. Once you appear at the venue, try to find a spot to sit down and check if you have everything that you're supposed to have for the big day. Once you confirm everything is alright, arrange all the certificates chronologically that you already mentioned in the application form. Do not forget to bring a black or blue pen, the copy of application form, a few photographs, the one you already pasted in the original application form, and the printed correction sheet that sometimes they ask you to bring, and your photo identity like Aadhaar card or something like that. Because you never know what they might ask from you. Why to take a chance? Proceed for the counter where the verification is being done for your subject. I always look at the person ahead of me in the queue to know how the process of verification is being done. Mostly the officials will check the marks and grades that were entered while applying for the position and certificates for NET, SET or GATE, certificate for PhD, experience certificate if you have claimed any. So cooperate with the officials for a smooth calculation of all the marks and grades, and remember, you may need to put signature to register your presence. Now be seated. After the verification is done, you are expected to take your seat and remain seated calmly. I know you feel anxious thinking about the interview, but I will suggest that you do not gossip with the candidates sitting around you and do not share your anxiety. This is not the right platform to get introduced with other prospective candidates. They may get you tense for no reason. Instead, you sit down and have some water and think positive about the ongoing interview. Of the several things that you may do while sitting and waiting, you can go through the study notes that you have already made as part of your preparation, hover over your published papers, give a quick glance to your thesis, and silently practice your well-organized and planned introduction about yourself. I would not take my mobile phone out of my pocket or bag. You must follow the sequence based on which the candidates are called. There may be interviews going on for other subjects, so you must identify in which room the interview for your subject is going on. Wait for your name to be called by the officials, and then you may proceed for the designated room where the interview for your subject is being held. If you are too late to be called, try not showing you are exhausted, because the next 15 to 20 minutes will make or shake your career. So now the may I come in surface. Make sure that you have all your documents ready in separate bunch. Keep your phone turned off before you enter into the interview room. I would make a bunch for all educational and experience certificates, a separate bunch for all my published papers. While you knock on the door, you may seek the permission for your entrance. When you are permitted, silently enter inside and close the door slowly without making much noise. Importantly, you should have a smiling face all the time. It is customary to say good morning or good afternoon or good evening depending upon the time of the day. Inside, there must be a chair reserved for you. Look for that and again seek permission before you sit down. Keep all your documents on the table in front of you and the backpack somewhere that doesn't distract their attention. It is good to quickly judge the ambience of the room. For example, how many interviewers are there, where is the board in case you are asked to explain something on the board, etc. Now you know that all pairs of eyes are pointed at you. Do not feel nervous. Instead, consider that as an opportunity for yourself. You have studied all your childhood, teenage, sacrificed your valuable times for reading and learning, while others were busy in enjoying their life. Showcase your talent as if you will not get a second chance ever. Believe in your strength, accept your limitations. Even if there's one vacancy, you will get it. You have come here to be accepted. There's nothing called rejection in your dictionary. So now it's your documents. Once you keep your documents, I'm sure you'll be asked to hand them over to the panel. Don't worry, you already have come with your documents segregated according to your plan. Upon asking, hand over all the educational certificates to one of them and the published papers to someone else. They may also ask you for your PhD thesis. Give it to them. Since your documents are chronologically arranged, the panel will have no problem to assess them. Let them do their job and you can concentrate on the actual interview. Can you introduce yourself? The most common question asked in the interview is that introduce yourself in a few words. I would not prepare a speech in the room itself, so that's a risk. Don't take that. Instead, prepare a nice speech ahead of time. Use search engines like Google, YouTube, and make a speech which is attractive, humble, but can explain all your strengths and positive sides. You do not need to emphasize on your negative sides. Leave it on them to find some. So, what are the things that you must have in your introduction? Start with your full name, where you are from, and a few words about your schooling, and then directly mention about your bachelor degree with grades or marks and university, followed by the same on your masters. Tell them what is your major during the masters. If you have NET and PhD, do tell them with the qualifying year. Emphasize on your teaching experience if you have any. It is advisable not to mention something if you don't have that. Remember that you won't be given more than 1 or 2 minutes for the purpose of introducing yourself. So, a direct eye contact is necessary. Not making eye contact is considered as a sign of lack of confidence. I would not hire an employee who suffers from lack of confidence. While replying, treat the experts as your students. I know this is difficult and requires some level of practice, but this brings more confidence in yourself. First couple of minutes of any interview is very crucial. It's almost like a tug of war. Whoever wins takes a cup of life. The next thing comes is the demonstration of your teaching ability. So it's not a 45 minutes class, right? You just have to only 1 or 2 minutes to prove yourself. Beforehand, select a topic in which you are comfortable with and make sure that the topic is from the syllabus of your interest. For example, my expertise was on immunology. I selected antigen presentation from undergraduate zoology syllabus. As part of their elimination test, there is a possibility that they may select a topic of their choice. I would say you are unlucky if that is the case, but you don't have a choice. No. You should have very good preparation so that you can speak for 1 or 2 minutes on any topic from the syllabus. Prepare well for the demo teaching so that you know how you'll start and proceed. I would prefer English language for interview until they ask you to speak in your own language. So face the questions. Questions that are asked from your subject is extremely crucial. You must be able to answer most of them if you would like to see your name in the list of successful candidates. According to my analysis, there is a thumb rule that no one will tell you. If your expertise is in classical zoology, they will ask questions from the modern zoology or molecular biology. If your CV shows that you are proficient in molecular biology, they ask questions from classical zoology. What pattern do you understand from this? Yes, you are correct. The questions will be asked from a sphere which is opposite to your sphere of comfort. Now, I will give some examples of questions that are commonly asked during the interview of College Service Commission for the subject of zoology. For example, what do you mean by coelom? Does sponge have a coelom? Once you are able to answer, the next question could be how blastocele is different from spongocele. Can you consider spongocele as a coelom? Why or why not? Remember, they are subject expert. So if you attempt to answer a question, they quickly throw the next question even before you finish answering the previous one. Take that as a credit. According to my analysis, your preparation is better than their preparation. Just because they are subject expert, do not assume that they know perfect answers of all the questions they ask. Very basic questions are often asked, such as, what is a plankton? You may need to pause for a while in order to remember what you studied during your graduation. Can you differentiate between cloaca and anus? What immunological relevant organ is present close to cloaca of bird? What is its function? Can you remember two internal characters of the class Mammalia? What are the different parts of an insect leg? How do you elaborate about the mouth first of a cockroach? If you are already in research or pursuing postdoctoral study, remain ready to face some tough puzzles related to that. See, you may not know answer of all the questions, but answering most of the questions are actually very easy if you remember them. So someone who can answer all the questions stand a higher chance to win the jackpot. The discussion that just I did explains some of the questions that I was asked in my turn. You can say that's my experience. You may be asked altogether a different sets of questions, but to get an instant idea of what kind of questions are asked during the interview, that discussion is important. Next thing you must keep in your mind is the syllabus of practical papers, especially for science subjects. Do go through the practical syllabus and remain ready to face some basics like how do you show chromosome to your students? How do you explain at what phase of cell cycle the chromosomes are? How do you prepare a particular stain? What is the basic principle of PCR? Remember, it's not important how good or bad you are, or probably you were. What really important is how good or bad they think you are. So, between you and the job, there is only the factor of a group of experts whom you have to convince that you are confident, knowledgeable, humble, and can control the class, teach effectively, and perform multitasking as per the need of the institution, and therefore you are eligible. Prove that you are that person they are looking for. What you are not supposed to do are, first of all, do not lie. If you do not know something, do not try to guess unless you are asked to do so. You can be a little bit diplomatic regarding your career plan, etc., but answer to their questions related to the subject should be straightforward. Their arena for questions include but not limited to your thesis, published papers, your major, or simply the subject in which you did your master's, career plan, etc. Do not feel shy to say that you are here to advance your career, and you will certainly continue doing so upon getting the job. Because there is no harm to accept that given a chance, even the interviewers will also do the same. But just do not tell them this truth. Now, I will discuss on the preparation of some of the aspects of zoology as a subject, go through both the theory and practical syllabus and prepare the basics, especially the classical portion, chordate, non-chordate, various schemes of classification, their examples. Remain prepared to face this kind of simple questions. How do you teach your students that a given sample is of fish? Take an example of reptilian classification. On what basis was this classification done? How do you distinguish between a reptilian skull and a skull of carnivore? Emphasis on some basics of ecology, parasitology, etc. Do you know what is Wallace line? What is its significance? Mention some important characteristics of fish. Explain different types of tail found in fishes. I'm sure that now you have some idea about the patterns of questions for CSC interview and what to emphasize on. Sometimes they are kind enough to give you a little bit of hints to ease the question. You must have a teaching plan, which means that going through the entire syllabus and having a good idea of the content of the syllabus are extremely important. If you are asked on what topics you are comfortable to teach, don't jump immediately to mention a few topics. First, let them know that you can actually teach any topics that is required to be taught. Even though you have some preferences like XYZ, etc., this way you can confidently establish that you are capable to teach anything in that syllabus. So your interview may be good or bad depending upon who took your interview, how they treated you, how you handle the questions, but never get disappointed for some reasons if you fail to perform up to your expectations. This is, of course, not going to be the last interview of your life, right? So why not to take this as a lesson of what not to do in the interview? Before I cracked the interview and stood 7th in the panel, I could not succeed for at least a couple of interviews. But do you know what I gained from my failure? Failure taught me the way I could succeed. I utilized that experience and performed my best at the right time. Viewers, thank you for watching the video. If you listen up to this, I'm sure that you like my video. Please subscribe to my channel if you have already not done so. Hit the like button and press the bell icon to encourage me. Do leave a comments in the comment section if this video is useful to you, and write down what else you want. I shall be more than happy to continue helping to build up your careers through Biology Methodist channel. Take care.